Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts.
It was very cloudy, earthquake over the north and the south side. Seraphim, thrones and a ark. I'm a melanin in a my cerebral spark. Eyes behold King Selassie, the almighty monarch with dominion, double-edged sword well sharp. I read them sailing a Vatican art from far out. Wailing souls are rotting, don't fall in a valley of the bloodbath.
Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts.
I know arrogance, all of the folly get all those sorrow dance. Only rejoicing thoughts, good memory in the files of a cash. Angelical food served in a calabash. Black jungle, Maxigan, Aquadash, Sacanalo. Keep a eye intact, one movement. Plants of the highest of ash. All over the premises, the mineral a wash at you.
Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts.
The green grass turning parts of my rust. Enter the great seas of that liquid brass. Gold scepter, place where the liquid stars. Ancestors seated around and a laugh. Such joyful feeling, the smoke no cough. I licking Rastafari around.
Trumpet sound.
I licking Rastafari around.
Trumpet sound.
And then me hear when the cherubim sound, hear them sounding.
Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts.
And it was cloudy, earthquake over the north and the south side. Seraphim throne on the ark. I'm a melanin in a my cerebral spark. Eyes behold King Selassie, the almighty monarch with dominion, double-edged sword well sharp. And he heard them, bring them up in a Vatican art. So far out, wailing souls are rotting. Don't get caught up in a the bloodbath of the
Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts. Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sorts. 420 I shines around these parts.
Reggae.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Greetings
Before we jump in today's episode of Crystal Vaults, I want to announce that we're coming again to the portals of Pittsburgh, May 26th, 27th, and 28th, 3-day event, Spatial Creativity and PIP, Peace in Pittsburgh, sponsoring Ross Ben, Mike Wan, for 3 days of exploring the portals in Pittsburgh. Yeah. For full itinerary and more info, contact spatialcreativity@gmail.com. All right, we're going to jump in today's episode. Respect.
There it is. Once again. And again and again. It don't stop. It won't stop. How would they say? Until righteousness covers this earth, as the waters cover the seas. Yes, I. Big up my man, Rod.
I love and respect, Star.
Highest
Salute.
respect. Hey, it's been a little while since we did the last one, man. The last one created a lot of ripples in the space-time continuum.
Sure did, brethren.
The Odu. Hey, the Odu.
The Odu.
Shook up the place.
Yeah,
Shook
big
up
up
the world.
Oba. Big up Olatunji Village. Respect.
Big up Oyotunji African Village. But they're not ready. The fire don't get no cooler, King. Come on, man.
Yeah, what?
The fire don't get no cooler. It went from the yellow flame to the blue flame.
The blue flame, brethren. The brethren is burning the blue flame.
We're burning blue flames tonight, King. We got a special guest on the line tonight.
What?
We got a very, very special. That's why I can't even see him, man. He burning too hot for the eye. It would burn a hole in my screen. He too hot. He too hot for the eyes of the multitude.
The technology wouldn't even line that up for us.
Right. But he is the fire keeper. He is the fire key man. He is the man. When we come in, every time we do these episodes, it's his sound. It's his artistic genius that
Crystal Vaults
that creates this, that creates the frequency for us to bring this offering to the people in, you know? Yeah, what they call the Crystal Vault, that sound, when we riding in on the Crystal Vault sound, the one and only Ross Maisha in the house.
Salute.
Live and direct.
Yes, sir.
Ross Maish in the place. Ross Maish, you there?
Yes, I. Tonight still in Wendeme. Greetings, my Lord and Majesty,
Yes,
Prince and Princess, Kings and Queens, Emperors and Empresses, you know?
Aye. Yes, I. Hey, we want to make sure they can hear what you got to say, so you need to make sure you're speaking into your mic, Ross Maish. You know, you don't really have to holler, but archive is what we deal with. So we want to make sure as you start dropping these jewels, the people ain't got no reason. Or they say, if you never knew, then you can make that excuse. But from you hear truth you hear truth and rights. You can't say you never to touch the truth and the rights. You know, everybody have a chance to choose which road will you choose. You know, 2 roads before you. Which one you gonna try? Yeah, the truth and the rights, or the folly and the trickery, you know? Yeah. So we need to make sure that people can hear you, Ross, Maisha. You know?
Yes, I. They had my ear, right?
Yeah, man, we hear you. You hear you solid.
Loud and clear.
Solid. Yes.
True.
All right. Well, y'all know what it is.
Yeah, man. A glory to word, a glory to sound, and a glory to power. You know, glory to the ever-living eye of iration. More ambassadors to him, Negede. Karamawi Haile Selassie, Siumi Ixibir, the Goose of Gas, Ethiopia, Emesgan, Jah, Rastafari. As Jah was in the beginning, is now and never shall be Jah world without end. So hail our God, Selassie, great and terrible God, Jah Rastafari, who sit in Zion and reign in the hearts of our flesh. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep us and sanctify us all. Cause thy holy face to shine upon us, thy children, so shall we be saved and redeemed in the name of the Most High. Selassie and Jah, Rastafari.
Aye.
You know, and I would like to open with the Ethiopian prayer, you know, our Father, you know.
Aye.
About tonight, yes, I give thanks. About tonight, besime yemetsnar, simi yakades mengishta timta. Kada besime indio bemidation, yeleten jarashien seten zelen, bendelashien yeker bendelin, enyan bendelin, yehin endenamen. Wede fitina tagban kakai fool wadin inji. Mengishta yinatna kalium. Mengishta. Lezele. Amen. Greetings and love, brothers. My Lord.
Aye.
Near and far. Our loved ones.
Holy high honor, us, my
Holy
shop.
high honor. What
Holy
honors
high
to
honor,
have.
us, my shop.
Yeah, man. What I'm saying, earth angels do dwell amongst men. And this brethren is an affirmation of that.
Hey. We got to give them context, man. We already speaking about 3 degrees into the muses. So for those who ain't knowing what we talking about, I'm gonna do the honor, man. Hey, and just for the record, usually Rastaman Naya come in and break up and bless up the sound. Not even break up, but bless up the sound with a prayer. But their brother Asmaisha is the one who really walked me through the order of the word sound power and the prominence and predominance and the power of how to change the frequency in a space instantly just to up for utterance. So it's only right that Ras Maisha pray us in, block the blessed sound for I and I to begin this session. And which one is this session, Ras Maish? Where Ras Ben? Ras Ben, where we at? This is what, episode what? 5?
I think it's 4.
This is episode 5.
5.
Episode 5. Episode 5. What we talking about, Ras Maish? Episode 5. What we talking about?
Seeing the I say is I can, you know, iconography, you know.
Iconography.
Yes, sir.
Iconography. Iconography. What we talking about? What we talking about? Iconography. Where art
is well,
makes us say I can.
Iconography.
Man.
Where art
yes, I
meets cosmology.
Still, you know?
Yeah. Where art meets cosmology.
Because when I get the word them, it's like the word them just unravel themselves to I just by break them down in a them farm, you know, etymologically. So the word them just talk to I, you know?
Yes.
So if we even look in a icon, you have different meaning of what icon, but what we all know as icon is basically a religious image of the Christ and stories surrounding the Christ in the Bible. That's basically what we are talking about when we're talking about Western and Orthodox religious iconography. But when we are talking about iconography within the realms of the Black experience now, we have to draw it wide, because iconography in its historical aspect only traces as far back to the after the Crusades. If you notice with the Western Church, and before that the Eastern Church went through an iconoclasmic era where they were getting rid of icons. So the icon really is the one who seeing the image can feel the story. You know, see it. So it's like the bringing to the physical man to the physical man, because without the invisible, if we look into the invisible as an invisible God, then we can't draw anything. But the making of an icon make you know that God is real. God is touchable and tangible. So within that iconography now of Rastafari, our main focus is Imperial Majesty, as well as the Christ character and the historical stories of the Almighty within the Bible and our tradition as Rastafari. So if iconography should be true to itself, then Rastafari is, in its art form, would be the sole representation of neo-iconography, in my view. See?
Aye.
Because if the iconographer only can remake images from such time, then it's only Rastafari who introduced his Imperial Majesty Kadamawi as the center, the psychological core of our iconography now. It takes on a new dimension. Seeing, so it go beyond just the regular European iconographer and these brethren who's dealing with just Western religion or Orthodox icons, you know?
Yes, I.
Yes, I. So when
we
really look into
the call, King, that was the inspiration for the call, because so much of the works that I respectfully deal with in our respective quadrants of works is tapping into technology, because when we're dealing with iconography, we're talking about transfer tools, and anytime we're talking about tools, we're talking about technology. Tools and technology are synonymous, you know? You can't have technology without tools. It don't have to even be a tangible tool. It could be an intellectual tool. And in this case, art is an intellectual tool that moves awareness and consciousness in respective directions and toward respective overstandings, you know? So iconography is the most ancient and high form of transferring information, ieretical information, spiritual and cosmological information, through visions, through images, and through forms, you know? So hence the concept, art and icons, how they fuse with cosmology. Arts, icon, and cosmology is the foundation of so many indigenous cultural traditions, with the part where they say is unwritten. It's just passed down from one generation to the next. And we can't say it's not unwritten. It's not necessarily unwritten. The icons keep us oriented to the cosmology. Right. Yeah.
So you see, one of the main focus when we deal with icons is the eyes of the image. See, if you notice the difference between a regular image to what we would consider the icon, the eyes, remember the eyes is the windows to the soul, you know, my lord.
Aye. Yes, aye.
So icons are considered as windows and doors to the divine. Icon, or icona in the ancient Greek language is just an image. But when you bring it to the icon, it's like it becomes a dialogue with divinity through your perception, the viewer. You becomes a witness because of the energy that were transferred through the artwork, through you notice Ethiopian icon them the ears big, cause a man if he can't hear the eyes them because you can see the focus. But it's not to make the image unreal, you know. It's just to put it in the one who's putting the image on the canvas or on the paper or on the chalice, because the icon are the image of Christ, you know, in our mosaic form, on a wall, engravement. So what you find out, say the icon I do. So you find out, say Rastafari put them image on the wall, and there's a in the meaning of icon, you can just put it on waste paper, like how we would make badges and buttons as Rastafari.
Yes.
So these things alert the masses when them see it, you know, back in the days, them must say, hold on there. The man here make icon. So you find out, say, all these things from just a simple engraving of the Black Christ or of His Imperial Majesty or of this Divine Mother. These are the icon, and they put you now as the one who I say, as the one who they see it now. You it's like the word become flesh.
See. And especially in a time like this, especially in a time like this when the people bombarded with these different images through public media, through broadcast media, and so rare we see any kind of image that is exalting, morality, exalting character, like the character in His Majesty, that is a character for, humanity, a character of selflessness. More time, we in the Western
international
world.
morality.
More time, we in the Western world, bro. Who they broadcasting? The guy who came in first place, irregardless of what he had to do, who he had to look out along the way to get up there. His Majesty.
Yeah,
Majesty, a champion for all manner of common people, humble people, simple people. To have a space at the table of success. This Western world.
The world.
This Western world is built around a reality of sufferers. Someone have to suffer for the folks in first place. All these systems of sports and competition, right? You only got one person in first place, one team in first place. Everybody else is a sufferer, and it's built around feudalism. It's built around the same conception that ran the world in old days, where there ain't enough for everyone. And His Majesty come to cramp that. His Majesty come to smash that. There is enough for everyone. We just have to change the way we look at the world we live in. And this is what we're saying with these icons. It is it's a free will decision. You can choose to be on the path, in this space where there's enough for everyone, or you can choose to joust for first place, and there's only room for one at the top. Yeah, and that's diabolical. That's a perpetuation of feudalism, where the multitude suffer for the benefit of a few. Yeah.
Yes, I.
So yo,
that's why. Yes, I.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I when I say, if you ever notice, an icon, you never see a icon with his back turned.
True. True. We never see one yet.
Focus on the frontality. An icon address the whole world. It's like fire. If you walk past it, it go burn you. So if you look, I know you're not supposed to say fire and then it write, oh, this is fire. You're supposed to know say a fire. So when you see a man paint all an image of his majesty, and him know, just because of the majesty, but you can tell when a man now put the direct power, is just an image where him a mass produce. It's not an icon, it's just a picture of his majesty. So when a Rasta man draw it, you have to stop and look upon it. You can't pass that the picture there. And that all over the world when you're dealing with his majesty on any little city wall. And it go forward to even a Rasben when I say, because icons are one of the great part of geomancy.
Right, because art
You know,
defines
see it at the visual.
our landscape and our reality.
Yes, my lord. So you're not going to see no icon where a statue that a Roman and Greek thing, and you know. So you know, I don't know, icon. So you're not going to really to see no statue of His Majesty around certain Orthodox church. You will see them otherwise, but not around not a lalabella. You know, see no statue. You know, see it. No, because it want to give you that the ability there, because you know some statue either too little or too big.
Right.
You know, when they make life-size statue, it's 3-dimensional. So it's like that not really represented as an icon, because you know deal with your frontally. Eye to eye.
Thing.
You know, see it to capture you. All right, check it like this. If it's a window, seeing Bubba, and in order to have a picture of His Majesty, for the regular man, him need a image of His Majesty, or His Majesty to take that picture of him, right? But the man who draw His Majesty of an icon, he might draw His Majesty through himself.
Huh. And
He might draw His Majesty as himself, fire.
See.
I know your works. And I know your works and your art
science
is aligned with what you say, the foundational cosmologies of Rastafari, particularly the idea of Rastafari as that fire king that survived the Ma'af on this side, but on the continent, one's called King Shango, and that you reflect that in your heart work, the way you present His Majesty as this fire king. You mind speaking on that?
Yes, we can touch upon His Majesty as the King Shango aspect, because Shango usually have him rod of iron, you know, and the same attributes where I and I give King Shango as the god of lightning and thunder.
Right.
We know in the Rastafari and Naim tradition say a Jah flash the lightning and Jah roll the thunder. You know, see it? And crash the wave. Jah ride upon the wings of the winds and the waves of the sea. Same way. So it would have to represent that the triune there, which is heat, air, and water. You know, see it? The elements, the king of the elements. So Shango are one of the element god them, just like how you have the other Orishas them what represent different elements. You know, see it? Oshun and Yeminya with the water principle, same way. You know?
Yes.
And I noticed
that's
those.
why when you say
When I cite your iconography of His Majesty, I see that you represent him as that fire king of the seventh heaven. Often, even Crystal Vaults, the cover of Crystal Vaults, I cite that in there, you know? His image of coming like King Shango.
All right. You see, no, you say King Shango now. If when we read the book of Enoch and it speak upon the seventh heaven and the one who sit up in the highest, His Majesty, and is no other but the King of Kings.
See.
So him is the living manifestation of that the crystal vault there. In the highest of I and I self, even in I own heavens. You know see it?
Yes.
So His Majesty take on, remember, you know, is a retelling of the story, you know, is a continuation of the prophecy, you know.
True.
So since David show now go fall short of a king to seat up, and we know that His Imperial Majesty are the king who come to seal up the judgment as the final king are who seat on the throne at this time, you know see it?
Yeah.
So we are look on within our time. His Majesty would I get the title of a King Shango, of a living manifestation of the highest avatar what could have walk amongst I and I.
Yes, all right. So that then brings us forward to the brings us forward to the reason for the season, because information is transferred through technology. Writing is technology. Painting is technology. And so we're dubbing this one arts, icons, and cosmology. So what we say is we can't just adhere to the version of the story would come from the conqueror. What they say.
No,
to
sir, that's why.
What they say, Rasmaish? To the victor goes the spoils. And it's very
because
rare.
Because an icon, you know. You hear me?
I hear you.
Is an icon. So we have to go to the Akan, the Adinka, and the Kan Anga, which is the Dugan artistic original expression and the symbol of the black dot. And that we are talking about.
Aye. Cosmology, what you're using, Pon King. Look, and remember, we have to be mindful, Rasmash, that I don't even count myself a scholar, but I have scholarly brethren. So some of these scholarly things I'm privy to, but there will be a lot of people who will visit this reasoning. And if we don't give them context, we're talking over top of their head. They don't know what we're talking about. So we have to give context to these things, you know?
So before you can make any icon, then
you
have to put the ink or the first engraving. Then and the first writing, the first touch is the black dot. So within symbols and symbology and icons and iconography, the origin of that is the original black dot. You see it?
Yes, I.
not just the black dot where the Shiva having at them forehead are the representation of the third eye. It got deeper. Even the universe itself is just a black dot.
Yes.
When you end in a sentence, you put a stop, a period mark, a black dot. So before you can make any mark, any inscription. See it?
Any kind of seal up on any sentence. It ain't just a period. Exclamation points, question marks, all have a black dot.
See
You
it?
can't seal up no conception without a black dot, Rasta. What you say?
And even if we are use white chalk on a blackboard, it's still gonna be a black dot. Yeah, so why Rasta talk about? You see it?
Yeah,
Because
man. Here the eye, King. Expound.
just like the keys in the piano are just the drum. The sound what you hear is not the pressure what you apply to the drum. Is the in between of the pressure what make the sound.
Mm.
Interval in between the note. Hey,
Yes,
and you mentioning music, because I just want to point out that I know we mentioned that
The
you
music.
created our theme song, Crystal Volts, but you're a crucial reggae artist that comes from a family with, what you say, legacy in that scene for a while. Tell us about that, brethren.
True. You know, say
You know who
I
you
and I.
are.
Yeah, man, I come from the Jamaica, Falmouth, Trelawney lineage, you know, the Twinkle Brothers house stable, where and I father are one of the original members, them,
Oh, what you mean,
next
Twinkle
to the
Brothers,
two.
bro? What you mean, Twinkle Brothers? Yo, what you mean?
Yeah, man, since I show the coma way, Barabbas,
This
free us.
throw the cold away.
Africa not free, black man not free,
Huh.
Hey, I them thing there, bro. The roots
Yeah,
run
man,
deep.
original
Bournemouth.
countryman,
Hey, the roots run deep in Falmouth. Roots
Yeah,
run
man, the
deep.
countryman before the movie Countryman,
The original countryman, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
original countryman. Wow, that's your peoples.
Hey, look, I'm not trying to put no shine, but look, this man Baba, the man what they call Bongo Asher, this man done served shoulder to shoulder with some of them original freedom fighters, man, South Africa, and Grenada. Yeah, man, this man done in them times when imperialism tried to block out every spark of original thought and or free will thought. Bongo Ash was there, man, way in them early days, lining up with the battalions of freedom fighters for the plight of black men all over the planet, Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So,
A luta continue. La victoria siempre,
Yeah.
So is Crystal Volts your first album?
No, say I first album, the first album what I do, it name Chant Up the Isis. And then I do a next album name Who Give. Then me do an album name Haile Selassie I Visit. So Crystal Vault I really like my 5th or 6th album, to be honest, you know, but the other one, them, me kind of did pull them off of the shelf. Them did want to redo, you know? Yes, so me did have, yeah, man, them want come put out the properly, because back in those times, they never have the internet and them things. They will just did a try, you know? So them album they were my name, none of them no have less than 14, 15. I remember Who Give probably have like 18 tracks on it. And these you can find some of these tracks on the internet if you know if you search good, you know. So the Crystal Vault album now, what I would have said now is our first official album where I put out. You know,
like
is the
official
first
production, everything is proper.
Yes, and
definitely
to be honest,
proper. Yo, I think to myself often, yo, we got the hottest theme song in the game right now. Ain't that's that, you know, I think that often. I ain't seen no show on the internet that when they got a little theme song jumping, the relevancy, the lyrics, it's no match, brethren, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, man, very give thanks for them words there, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yes, Ross Ben, Most High works what I deal with. So everything we posting out here on these platforms, man, I'm not even really concerned about clicks. I don't think you are either. But somebody have to leave a blueprint for the younger generations. Find themselves in the midst of the chaos. And so I'm just thankful. I have brothers like yourself and Rastafari who are critical-minded ones and ones, keepers of old ancient traditions. And we can just casually come together and something, because we've been doing this for over 20 years, man. And like this, we're not really trying to invent nothing new. We just haven't been recording it when we come together in the past.
True.
Now we're recording. True. And now we're being a little bit more structured because we know the attention span of these generations ain't but so long, you know. And we get our regular followers like, yo, I'll sit on here for 2 hours, and we know that, we love that, we respect that. But we know the most, if you got children or grandchildren, their attention span ain't more than a couple minutes, man. 5, 10, 15 minutes at the best.
Seed, brother. Them have mustard seed attention spans, you know.
Hey, since you waxing prophetic, Rastafari, what do I say when it come to, especially the thing what they call vendettas? Every time the man do you wrong, faith is a thing between faith and vendettas. How many times you gonna let this man come and do you wrong, and then you still give him another chance? This is Christ talking to his disciples, right? This is where the mustard seed come up. Since you want to mention the mustard seed, right? And it was like, yo, our Lord, we already let this man get over about 6 times, 7 times. Here he come again. We supposed to let him get over again? And Yeshua said, yeah, let him get over again. It was like, our Lord, I don't know if our faith runs that deep. And this is when he brought reference to the mustard seed. He was like, yo, if you had the faith of the mustard seed, then what? You could uproot the mulberry tree. You could uproot the mulberry tree and place it in the ocean. And the mulberry tree ain't no easy tree. And symbolically, the mulberry tree is what? That's the place where they would place the dead. They would cut the coffins out of mulberry, right? So it was a double-edged sword where he was telling them, you can hold on to the vendettas as long as you want, but it's going to bring you closer to that mulberry box then it's going to bring the folks who keep doing you wrong. You'd be better off executing ma'at and doing your best to forgive than to hold these vendettas and change your nature, because a lot of these folks don't know how to act. Yeah. The mustard seed. If you had the faith of the mustard seed, you could uproot the whole mulberry tree and place it out there in the sea somewhere. And the mulberry tree ain't easy. You see, I'm a woodcutter. And a mulberry tree, if it's not been tended, it'll take you all day just to get to the trunk. You can't just cut no wild grown mulberry tree like you walking up on a pine tree. You know, it'll take you all day to cut through the branches that sprawl out at the ground level just to get to the trunk, to try to cut the trunk. You know, so the parable is very symbolic on many levels. You know, if you're trying to move a mulberry tree, you got to have a whole lot of faith and willpower. You know, you got to have a whole lot of faith and willpower. That ain't going to happen real quick, you know, and then you're going to place it in the ocean. So it's interesting. Maisha, you might know that verse because you're a biblical scholar, but it came up because just through the times that we're living in, a lot of my elders checked out. A lot of my woodcutter elders cut out, checked out.
Yeah.
And the mulberry just so happened to be a common theme surrounding their movements. And Mama did the research. Mama Carla did research about the mulberry. The mulberry is what they used to cut the coffins out of. So when Christ shared this with his disciples, it was a 2-level message. We can hold on to the vendettas as long as we want, but chances are it's getting us closer to that mulberry box than it is the guys that did us some wrong, whoever did us foul, whoever don't know how to act civil, humane, them guys that use and abuse kindness like weakness. We hold on to the vendettas. It's getting us closer to that mulberry box than it's getting them. You know?
Yeah.
True that. Hey, since we talking history, mystery, and prophecy, and I know Ross Meish is a serious student of that, whose life experience give him various angles as a brethren born in Jamaica, but spent enough years in Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania was founded by Admiral Penn. And he was given Pennsylvania for what? Taking the island of Jamaica from the Spanish on behalf of the British.
Yeah, man.
What's your thoughts on that, brethren? Give us some insight living in both of these lands and even seeing how Philadelphia, which is, you know, the foundation of Pennsylvania, grew out from here. Philadelphia's place in biblical prophecy, being the one community that was said to be able to witness judgment on Judgment Day and not feel the judgment. What's your thoughts on all them things?
Yeah, you know, say I get published. Artwork get published in a book used by the Carnegie University of Pittsburgh in about 2013, somewhere around that time. The book called Pittsburgh for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh by Pittsburgh, the art book they use in the art school over there. And the artwork that I had submitted was because Pittsburgh and Jamaica have few peculiar similarities. For instance, per capita, the number of churches. So they both have the have the record for the most churches.
Per person,
It's a
right?
city.
Jamaica got the most churches per person in the world, right?
Yes, I.
And what's
And
Pittsburgh's
Pittsburgh.
stats?
Yeah, and Pittsburgh just have it for just the most churches.
Well,
and
like
bridges.
a city
Yeah.
in the United States with the most churches.
Yes, I.
Wow.
So we have that record in common, and not only that, Falmouth, out of all of the places them in Jamaica, Falmouth down to the square is the town that represents that the most.
Huh.
And if you grew up in a Falmouth, you know every corner is a church, and one of the first building is the oldest Masonic building in the Western Hemisphere is in Falmouth, Trelawney. So you
Wow.
find out that when Penn and Venerable, them actually said the same amount of acreage that would be allotted them in Jamaica was actually allotted them in Pennsylvania. I can't figure it, because Pennsylvania seems way bigger, of course. But then when you check the available acreage, they might have a point there,
Huh.
Hey, I remember coming up, it was talking about the size of Jamaica was close to the size of Pennsylvania. I don't know how accurate that is, but I
Yeah,
even
man.
forgot that thought when it was talking about Jamaica, and it's probably not accurate.
Because what happened in the original story is that the Pennsylvania that we now see is not the original Pennsylvania. Some of it is extra land.
Huh.
You see, so Pennsylvania was expanded, and cut back several times, and they had a war with Virginia because it was called West Virginia and Pennsylvania in one for a time in history.
Anytime you got
So they
clean
couldn't
lines,
read.
anytime you got clean lines on state borders, a lot of blood been shed.
Huh.
In Pennsylvania is one of the cleanest lines. You got the northern line is relatively clean from one end to the next. Southern line is clean. A lot of people done died. In order to establish those borders. The western line between Pennsylvania and Ohio is damn near a straight line. How you get straight lines unless a whole bunch of people had to die?
Yeah, man, Mason, Dixon, them,
Them kind of thing there, yeah.
Right.
So you find out these things. So when we look on that Congo, not only with the churches, I see similarities in the establishment of industry as far as the water wheels, Jamaica had running water and all these things trying out, and Pennsylvania being like a hub for university, even the whole Carlisle thing when they started to re-educate the Native Americans that started in Pennsylvania, the Carlisle University or something like that,
Right. In Carlisle,
That's one of the-
Pennsylvania.
Yes, I.
Yeah.
So you find out that's how them bring the original native them from out west for start civilize them, see it. And I think Jamaica Information Service is held by the University of Pennsylvania.
Huh.
They hold their archives there. Yes, my lord.
Say that again.
The Jamaican Information Service archives are held in the University of Pennsylvania, Penn State.
Huh. Do you know why
they
that
are
is?
I think them are brother and sister, like how the churches, the Catholic, because most of these schools are originally church schools, Catholic schools.
Huh.
Yeah, so you find out you would find out if even you would have, like, for instance, any little trouble in the world, the Army Corps of Engineers from America go out, they go deal with it. So you find out that the whole revivalism and the whole Christianity concept in Jamaica what take root via the European churches was also being established here in Pennsylvania in the same time.
Huh.
So a lot of those surveys and a lot of those because they had to wipe away a lot of the original information and a lot of the truth and make it available in their university, so they go collect data around the world. Who started the drum sound and where was these men? So they were documenting everything. The last the last great crocodile from Jamaica, them have it on record. The first Rastaman on videotape, they have it on record. The last slave to talk to the first one to ever be recorded, they have it on record at the University of Pennsylvania.
Wow. Huh. I can't help but feel it goes back to that legacy of Admiral Penn. If he was given Pennsylvania as a reward for taking over Jamaica, you know, he was right. In history, you'd be known as a privateer, but what's the difference between a privateer and a pirate other than one is sanctioned and the other isn't, you know? It's still like what they're doing is the same thing. And so
actually,
oh yeah.
Yeah, actually the ones called the privateers are called always, whoever called them privateers, but somebody else called them pirates.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
So when the pirates flew two flags, when they come in, when the English see them, they were privateers for the English. But when when they run into Spaniards, they become pirates all of a sudden.
Exactly. Or if they sanctioned by the Sultan of Morocco, now they're a pirate. But if it's King of England sanctioned them, now history records them as a privateer.
Yeah, regardless of what we want to call them. I live down here on the southeast corner, and I offer to anybody to come down and travel to the southeast, because that honestly it's kind of interesting that that's the route that I had to take to come down here and find my roots in South Carolina. We cover my roots in South Carolina, but every major town along the East Coast, you'd be remiss if you travel more than 10 miles and you don't see them venerating pirates. Pirate this, pirate that, pirate golf course, pirate cove, pirate restaurant. You won't travel more than 10 to 15 miles through any major town. You won't travel that long because most towns ain't that big in the South, on the South, you know. Once you start hitting Wilmington, even before you hit Wilmington, Virginia Beach is a pirate town, you know. On the Delaware coast, you got pirate towns. Virginia Beach, you come down.
Philadelphia was a pirate town.
Say that again.
Philadelphia is a pirate town.
Pirate towns, bro, because what they was doing, it was body snatching. They were snatching indigenous people that look like you and me, throw them on a boat, take them to somewhere else, call them a nigger when they drop them off.
Right.
And then say, however many hundred years later, y'all came from Africa.
No, man, the golden age of piracy, man, was basically South Carolina also, my lord. Remember Blackbeard, you know?
Hey,
Blackbeard and and steady Bunny or whatever them call him and the other woman, you know. Them pirate there.
And Rastafari, the Huguenots, a lot of Moors, a lot of buccaneers that looked like you and I was getting big loot, moving, snatching bodies and moving bodies, bro. It wasn't just no white man thing what they deal with. We ain't saying the white man was exempt, but it was a whole lot of folks.
Yeah, man,
like
them did have the great female pirate, them, man.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of mix-up, a lot of folly work going on. When the Moors got expelled from Spain in 1492, a lot of them folks took to the high seas, man, and they were capitalists, and they did what they had to do to make money on the high seas. And right, a lot of these pirate towns, even though I never really did too. The folks like say I look just like them. I'm sure my ancestors was mixed up in that exchange. The folks who still run the money today don't look like you and me. They look like some long-nosed cat.
Yes, and them have them dollar bill icon to back it too.
Ashkenaz mountains, and they run all these towns, King. They run, and you see them there today. You know, and Lord forbid we are actually saying, you know what they call us just because we acknowledge in the history? We anti them. You're not even supposed to have the integrity of character to account historically what happened. If you accounting it historically, now you anti-Semite them. Just because you offering a perspective or a narrative that points out like, yo, y'all been up to some stuff. Your ancestors did some dirt that negatively affected my foremothers and forefathers. Just because you have the audacity to remember and to say it out loud, guess what they call you, Ross? Anti-Semite, anti-whatever.
Right.
You know? And they run these towns up and down the East Coast of the Americas. They are the inheritors. They are the inheritors of the pirate towns up and down the East Coast.
And what is
for generations.
And what is a pirate known for doing?
Pillaging.
Stealing, right? So you have the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because the pirates steal and they make also steal, and the gun that the pirate use, the musket, is also called the steel. And the pen is called el stilo in Spanish. You see it?
But look,
we
have to get forward to the point, y'all. We're going off on tangents. And
so stick up in right there, so. And also the iconography for the pirate, not just the one in Pittsburgh, but is a skull and the crossbone. No, go too far, right?
Yes. So that's what we say, is that the iconography is what runs reality. And this is what Pittsburgh comes in such a special place. This is what we were saying last year when we connected there for the gathering, where art meets technology. You'll find it like no other place in the Western world. Like you'll find it in Pittsburgh.
That's what all the colleges and universities,
not all of them,
their intention they're built around.
Not all of them, but the key ones, the key critical movers, the Carnegies. Carnegie Institute is strategically positioned to cultivate the arts and what? Technology. Yes. And from long time, from the industrial age time. So when everybody else was still just kind of scrapping, these cats understood. If you get the highest degree of artisans, the Andy Warhols and whoever else, and then you fuse that into your technology, this is when you get the breakout of mass media. This is when you get the first ages of television, telecommunication, art, meeting technology, you know, and controlling the minds of the multitudes, because it is the art intricately, the icons are anciently woven into the cognition of the multitudes, whether they know it or not. The folks who know the icons, the folks who know the power woven into certain images, forms, and shapes, they can implement them.
People are now considered
They can implement
icons.
them in their broadcast agenda. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we're talking about, brethren. Where art
Become an icon.
and icons meet cosmology. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're supposed to be talking about.
And what was that name of Pittsburgh, Mike? Dion
Dega.
Dion Dega. Drop the Dion Dega science, brethren.
Yeah, the Dion Dega. As far as pertaining to, so me not go off in a tangent, you know. Which aspect of the era you'd like me to touch upon?
What was that name? What does it mean? Like the navel of the world? What
Navel of the universe.
Navel of the universe.
Navel of the universe, and it also translate to beautiful land. You know? Yes, I.
How do you see that tying into how we see Pittsburgh manifesting in today's society? Like how Ross was saying, so much is birthed out of Pittsburgh with this art and technology. Pittsburgh impacts our lifestyle and our way of life in ways you don't even really know till you get there and see what it is, you know? How's that tie in with Dion Dega?
Well, because of the confluence of the rivers and the creeks and all these things and the ancient parts, it was easy for them to grid. So it becomes like almost like okay, this is the blueprint for what we're gonna use when we're constructing cities. You know, we're gonna use these particular blueprints when we're constructing bridges, or when we're constructing this, because we tried it at Pittsburgh and it failed and it worked. And it's one of the areas them where after the destruction of like Johnstown and them place that through flooding, they kind of figure out, okay, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to prepare dams. This is how we're going to have the first trolley system running through a town, the first electric cars before, you know what I mean? When now we have the first driverless cars coming out of here, the first public housing system, what later became the projects, the first EMS ambulance system that the black man from the Hill District in Pittsburgh create. The first Pittsburgh had a zoo downtown with an alligator in it that used to just walk around at night time.
Wow.
So it's a first for a lot of things, you know what I mean? One of the original Chinatowns was downtown Pittsburgh also, you know? To this day. So you have
and I also heard
and just like in Jamaica had Chinese over there from Pittsburgh. And another thing about Pittsburgh, when Pittsburgh captured, when the English who captured Pittsburgh from the French raided downtown, or what became Grant Street from that general, they use a militia force that was comprised of even brethren from Jamaica and other Caribbean countries, and they call them the Highlanders. So even back then, they were using that, and that's who raided Fort Duquesne and even made it into Fort Pitt.
Wow.
Hey, part of the reason
Yes,
why
sir.
I wanted to bring this reasoning forward with you high-powered brethren is the iconography.
Yeah.
But what does the iconography do, Raspen? It triggers the Magi nation. The Magi nation. And those amongst us. I had this conversation with the young brother I work with on a day in and day out. Because nowadays it's few and far between you find young people with an active imagination. Most of them caught up on the copycat, trying to fit into some kind of filter or other kind of format where you can get clicks or likes, you know. The imagination of the generations coming in right now is muted and muffled behind copycatism, you know. And so what we say is there's a very special ashe that's still relevant in the significant spaces upon earth where magic happens. And Pittsburgh is one of those places. I bear witness. I don't want to be there a whole lot. Like, I'll go visit. That's my hometown. I can't be there too long. But just through the grace of the good works and the time we put in prime time beforehand and up till now, we still got good folks in the regions where we can chop it up, mix it up, share ideas, exchange research, and still make the most of the sacredness of the place that is. But Pittsburgh is one of those very special places on the globe, not just in America, where the manipulation of space and time, line, actions, time and space,
the metaverse,
manipulation
Pittsburgh
is active and well in Pittsburgh, bruh. The swap
Pittsburgh is
of
the metaverse. You know that, right?
The swap of the Moor with the Moor man is alive and well in Pittsburgh, bro. That thing never stopped. It don't stop. It won't stop because there's magic in the water. There's magic in the soil. If you have any remnant of original bloodline in you that you can remember, if somebody had the audacity to remind you as a young person in this epoch that you one of us, you one of the originals, then we are those who not supposed to be having competent, cognizant conversations. You know? Yeah.
Mike, you were saying something about the metaverse.
Yes, when I say Pittsburgh are the home of the metaverse. So over the same Kanye gate.
What you mean, Ross? For those that don't know.
Yeah, man, Pittsburgh, the whole hub for the metaverse starts from, you know, this is where they're creating the metaverse, you know.
Interesting. I know when I was out there too, Ross, you was blocking the sound on the biblical references to Pittsburgh, that it may have been the original Eden, where the 4 rivers of Ethiopia flowed out. Am I correct? Or what was you sharing on that?
Oh, I?
Yes.
Oh, pertaining to the rivers. No, I never wanna make a correlation to the rivers being the rivers them in Ethiopia. But the legend from the natives here is it is that creation's womb.
Mm.
So we could make a correlation to it in that sense, just as though the confluence of the Ganges give that reflection, the confluence of the Nile give that definition, and the Congo Basin, the Congo River give that also. So you have a few.
Yeah, so I would go off on a tangent. I would go off on a limb and say there are those amongst us to say the place what we call Turtle Island, what they call America today, is one of the oldest refuges for humanity on the planet. And when I study the works of some of my brethren, especially the mystics of the 40th parallel, we see that there are archaeological remnants that date, that they're too old to date. It's a conflict for Western mindset, because if they try to date these things, the whole structure of 32,000 years, the biblical restricted version of space and time will fall apart. So what they do, how the man von Benjamin say, they conspicuously omit, these things that point to a reality that existed way before Johnny Come Lately. Johnny Come Lately loved to control everything in his perverted narrative. That's how he can maintain his seat of relevance and authority. But as soon as we start to do our STEM, right? This is why I want to keep the Black people out of STEM. This is why Black people don't have no business in STEM. Because once we start really doing deep science and research, we see these same cats that say they are the saviors of humanity based upon their science and their technology just showed up last night, Johnny Come Lately, and they got this tendency of what? Erasing and eradicating anything that don't glorify their last minute overstanding of what's going on. And if we are responsible custodians of the traditions of our foremothers and forefathers, then we know a whole lot went on before these cats showed up on the scene, ransacking the earth for the sake of profit and capitalism and democracy, or whatever they want to call it, And look, I ain't even fighting them cats, because they got bigger guns than what I got. That's what y'all riding out with. Ride out with that. His Majesty showed them, y'all got all the guns y'all need. Y'all got everything y'all need to do. Y'all could have eradicated us a long time ago. But God and his duration shall recall your judgment. Same match you struck in I homeland. Yo, what you think? The fire ain't gonna come touch you? Yeah, the fire gonna come touch y'all too. Yeah, y'all better get ready for the fire. And they wasn't ready. They wasn't ready. They were not ready. Because before, y'all already know the story, man. I'm preaching to the choir, but you hear what it is. Some of these prophetic birthrights, some of these prophetic blessings, it don't matter what kind of fuck way they try to come and mix us up and trip us up. It only take a small remnant of I and I to ensure and endure, to ensure and to endure. Yeah, so it go. And this is why our works This is why we're doing this session. The space where iconography, art, and cosmology meet, you know, because we're never going to build no bomb bigger than these cats can build bombs. We're never going to build no gun that can kill people 400 miles away. That's their specialty. This is how they get down. You know, this is what run the place. This is the biggest industry in this thing called capitalism. The biggest industry is how can you kill people? How many people can you kill? You know, who making more money than Lockheed Martin? You know what I'm saying? Smith and Wesson. How many people can you kill? Right? This is who they are. They're not hiding that shit. They just don't say it like we're saying it right now.
Right.
Right?
I think that ties in when you talk about the iconographic nature of Ross's work and his study of history, mystery, and prophecy, right? Another thing I see in Ross Mike's works is Christ in his kingly character. And,
that part.
You know, I don't see no white Jesus, no dead white Jesus on a cross. When I see Ross Mike's work, I see Christ in his kingly character and images of that Christ return and a redemptive last days in time visions. Build on that, Ross.
Yes, I.
Because we ain't got no nuclear bombs. We ain't got no automatic rifle, but prophecy said we don't need those things, and we see it in your iconographic works.
Hey, what with clean hands and what with pure hearts, and I turn them back, just like His Majesty and Ras Makonnen and all them Ethiopians from ancient times have done time and time again.
It said, make not unto the eye self no graven image, you know? So the is a manifestation of a transform eye man, you know? The icon of Rastafari within the realms there are the self anew, the anew self, you know. You are looking at the mirror and you don't see a man, you see a lion, you know. When the next man just have to look on a lion to see a lion. I look on the mirror and see the lion, you know. I looking at the mirror and see the majesty. At the door, the true self, you know, the oneness with Jah, Rastafari. The word become flesh in the Holy Trinity form, you know. You hear the words of Rastafari and the art make it touchable with the image, you know. And the humanity, because the last time when I did a reason, we did a reason upon the humanity of the Christ, you know. If we don't have no Christ, if we don't have no Rastafari, how we go make an icon of him? So the icon I say, Jah real, especially in the Rastafari trad. No invisible God, no Jah real in the sense of how Rastafari put forth the artwork towards that. The impossibility, possibility. You know, see it?
Yes, I. Yes, I.
The true humanity, the physical matter of man, you know, see it? So that's why the Ethiopian artwork is sent upon the eye and then it branch out in a circle, like how the tree of life, the divine Sephiroth, and all these things remember, you know, a picture give 1,000 words, an image is 1,000 pictures, but an icon is 1,000 image.
Mm.
You know, see it. So
That's right.
the icon are the, like we say, kings, dreads, and lions are our theme. Within the kings, we have the emperors, the empresses. You know, we have the archangel. Remember, you know, in a certain European art, certain Orthodox icons, and even if you're looking at Egypt, you see the halo around the head, right?
Right. The
Some
halo,
picture, if you
yes.
don't see the halo, you don't recognize it as an icon, you know.
Hmm.
But a real icon don't even need a halo around it, you know. The halo, you have to put the halo around a dead image, because without that halo there you can't tell say it's an icon. You know, have that power there without the halo. So you find out in a Babylon and Christian art, they use the halo like a prop. You know, and draw a job, but you have to draw some like a white boy angel beside him, and hug him up and kiss him and wall up him and them something there. That's not in the thing.
Mm.
That's not true icon. Them they are European image and copy, because John don't need no little angel boy if you wall up in hand. And if you can look on the image, the Ethiopian image of Christ and the Rastafari portrayal of His Majesty through for them art. Even with the eye closed, you can still see say eye open.
Mm.
Mm.
You can't draw Jah dead. Like how Christian draw dead Jesus. You're not going to see nobody draw. You can't draw Jah dead.
Mm. 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 Yeah,
So,
man.
you see, I'll pan the
Yes.
cross him and I look and say, lightning and thunder around here. So.
Boy, King, that's where I want to see the image of the Most High. They don't want to see the image of Far Eye around these parts, King, because so much what they promote, so much of the interest in capitalism is based upon debt, debt and dead. You know, debt and dead. This is why it's
Yeah,
much,
man,
you know,
you
when they get no.
and Giotto and all of these men, they ain't gonna draw the dead Jesus with some man hold him up. And them something them man and some bleeding wound, and the man look like he hurt and injury and them something there.
Nah, when he's high and mighty and triumphant, you know? Yeah. That's the folly work of these ransackers of the earth, you know? Yeah, that's the folly work of the ransackers of the earth. This is why we have to bring you in, Ras Maisha, because you have a critical angle on with earth, with art, and icons, meet cosmology, where meet the true black heart faith of I and I, sons and daughters out here dispersed in the Ma'afa, you know, because the last episode we did dealt with that, right? The vibe. We got the vibe. And all too often times, our vibe, what we do, we might sell our vibe for a contract.
Mm.
You know, we might sign off on something where our vibe is a big corporate entity that ain't even tethered to the cosmology, making money off of the ashe innate within I and I, you know, the vibe that come through the bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The
so what we say,
real currency,
it's only
the
right that we
vibration.
come, it's only right that we come with this episode to say, yo, the real vibe is beyond commerce. It's beyond what you can take to the bank. It's that portion where when you do right amongst young people, you living upright and young people's watching, you could take that over, you could take it over yonder.
Mm.
You know, you could spend $1 million on a house, you could spend $500,000 on a car, you could spend all this money on whatever. You ain't taking none of that with you, Ross.
Mm.
You ain't taking none of that with you. But if you do just small things with the young people, you know what I'm saying? When you could be doing other things to lavish yourself in Babylon, in this Western world. The young people never forget your name. And you could take that with you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Only thing you can take are your morality, you know?
Take it with you. You could take it with you. They will be talking about you even after they call your number. You know? Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, we still talking about the El Haj Malik Shabazz of what we still talking about Leonard Percival Howells of the world. We still talking about all these ancient men that come in and made time for young folks like us.
Bongo time, bongo wato.
Hey, the Amos Wilsons of the world and all these folks, bro, they took time to make sure that whatever inspired them when they was young and full of fire, they made sure we had access. And guess what? They could take that to the house. We still talking about them even though they're on the other side. You know? This is what I'm talking about when we talking about this icons, art, and cosmology. This is the root of I&I. Perpetuity. You know, what we do to inspire the generations who come in on our heels. You know? And it's the most efficient strategy to combat these ransackers of the earth. It's the most efficient strategy. You know what I mean? It ain't exalting me beyond no one else. It ain't exalting you, Rossman, beyond no one else. But it's a active ingredient to keep these young people engaged in something beyond the fuck way where they're trying to take the whole humanity and say, y'all, there's nothing original about none of y'all. No, there's a whole lot of originality amongst I and I. Just check the youth, you know? Just check for the youth. You ain't never seen no youth like I and I. Just check for yourself. Your whole bumbleclot debauchery of the whole earth can't hold a match in the face of the infinite genius that been bestowed upon I and I youth. I and I youth them. Yeah. What's wrong with that? Who's going to be offended by that? Unless they signed up for the ransacking of the earth. And it ain't between us and them. It's between them and the Most High. You know? It ain't between us and them. It's between them and the Almighty. Because, shoot, we didn't make this space. We were just sent here as the Aki Becca to make sure that a remnant would be preserved in these times, in the midst of all this debauchery, you know? In the midst of all the debauchery, a remnant would be preserved among Sinai. What's wrong with that? Yeah.
And that is the keeping, my Lord, and the maintenance of culture, the culture of all the arts. In the art, the icon.
Yo. Hey, they're not ready, Ross Mice. Hey, look, Ross Ben, what you got to do? We're going to get with Ross Mice and get a whole bunch of images you can pop in when you do the editing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've been visioning that for all his reasoning. Like, yeah, man.
Yo,
I could see his heart work, exalting these words so people overs what this brethren is dealing with, you know?
Yeah. Hey, and I'm representing well. This is why I'm wearing this tonight. Because, hey, what it said, the picture speaks 1,000 words. Yo, representing well.
Right.
You have to know His Majesty is a champion for humanity. It ain't just about black man in Ethiopia and through the continent. If it wasn't no majesty, we wouldn't have no civil rights nowadays. There wasn't no civil rights before His Majesty came upon the scene. There wasn't no civil rights before they had human rights. You know, His Majesty had to set the standard for human rights. These cats that ransacked the earth, as far as they're concerned, were all just subjects in their feudal system of capitalism. You know, His Majesty had to put that lion claw on them like, yo, you can't just do that everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? I come from an old ancient system where there was order on earth before you came to ransack it in the name of your interest, called capitalism. You know? So you have to move easy when you trot amongst I's sons and daughters, you know? And for that reason alone, they never love His Majesty, because these cats never really have no real connection with humanity, you know? But His Majesty, Haile Selassie, had the vision to put it, he understood the law. This is why he got laws and degrees from every nation. You have to establish an order of humanity amongst the nations if it's not going to be ransackers of the earth just ripping and running and tyranny, you know, to the ends of the earth.
That's true.
Yeah. So
brethren, we at that 2-hour mark. We at that 2-hour mark.
Oh, all right.
Yes,
So let me
I think we're going to time it out for the night. And no, Mike, you have to come forward.
Yeah, you know, Mike's gonna be on here on a regular, man. We gotta have Mike at least once a month. I'm thinking.
Yeah, man. Have the words of your mouth keep bubbling up from the fountain. You know.
Image of His
Majesty. So we appreciate love, all that you shared, the wise mind and overstanding. Yeah, man. You want to close us out, Ross? Your closing words?
Hey.
True. I would have
shall
just
be last, last shall be first. First shall be last, last shall be first. And I seal up words for the night. You already know what it is. Steady on your good works, my brother.
Steady on your good works.
These little segments don't have enough time for us to really share the fire that keep us off the beaten path. You know what I'm saying? And steadfast on the road less trodden, you know? Yeah. Most High guide I, the bright morning star. Yeah, guide I.
Yes,
what do you say, Ras Maisha?
Yes, I. We just I say give thanks for the giving of thanks, you know? Yes, my Lord. And God bless I going out and divine protection coming in, you know? And how good and how pleasant it is for I to dwell together in unity, you know? It's like precious ointment upon the head that run down to the beard. Even I beard that went down to the imperfect garment. And as the Jew affirm and the Jew that I send upon the whole mountain, where His Majesty commanded life, blessing, love, forevermore, with His wonderful lion-hearted wife, Empress Menen, you know? Most High, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
All right. What? The crystal vaults give thanks until such time. Steady on your good works.
Hey, steady on your good works, my brother. Brother, me brethren. Ras Mice, Ras Ben. Yeah, I know how we do.
Yes, sir.
Works can to cease upon we watch, yo. We are not the weakest generation.
Yes, and work steady upon your goodness, too, you know?
Steady upon your goodness. Steady upon your good works.
All right.
Bless up, my brother.
All right. Love, my Lord.
More love, my brother.